Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm so fired up. It's Friday. We have had an amazing morning so far. An early clubhouse at 5 a.m. Pacific time, and then office hours, and then podfest. And now I'm on my IG live getting ready for training at 11 a.m., which is 2.5 hours from now, Pacific time, 2.5 hours from now. Join me on vulnerability training. We're going to get off this morning on being invulnerable by being vulnerable, learning about that. Everybody, welcome. Team David Meltzer up there, making sure people know how to get in touch with me. It's david@dmeltzer.com. Join my text community. It's right there, 949-298-2905. All right, we got questions today already coming in, warming up for vulnerability training in the Q&A session to follow here on IG Live, Clubhouse, and my webinar. Over 26,000 people registered for today. So we're getting big on what started. Hey, Starfish Group, I haven't seen you guys. Good morning. Awesome. All right, question. Best quote you've heard recently. I heard so many good ones. That my past is designing me, not defining me. And that's a great quote. Also, it's not what people that are listening to you, it's what they're listening for. So don't look for people to listen to you. See what they're listening for and provide them that value. Some great quotes that I found today. Let's keep the questions coming. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you were investing in a sports team for the future, which would you pick? I already have. I invested in Overactive Media, the team in Toronto for esports, the most potential of any sport and any franchise. And we are so excited about what they're doing. We're building a $500 million arena in Toronto for our team, Overactive Media. Check it out. So excited. That's the team I would invest in. And I actually put my money where my mouth is early on, thanks to my, at times, 7-year-old son and Justin Pugh, head of my media, telling me esports can sell out an arena way back when I was going to the NBA Finals with LeBron James and Steph Curry. When LeBron James wins the game in Game 7, we are fired up today. I hope everyone's as fired up as I am. We're going to have a training on vulnerability today at 11 a.m., just in a short amount of time. One more minute, we're going to bring some guests on as well. Best surprise you've gotten recently? My daughter came home visiting she graduated college early and came home to visit. We celebrated her 22nd birthday early here, and it is the best surprise you can ever get, is to see your children and let them tell you that they're healthy, they're happy, they love you and appreciate you. Only 4 things I look for in my kids. I want them to do their best, I want them to learn lessons, and I want them to have fun, but I want all of it to work within the context of health, happiness, appreciation, and love. What time is good to read a book for growth? Every day you should read a book for growth. I've been reading Course in Miracles, Think and Grow Rich, Wayne Dyer's Power of Intention every day for over 5 years. So every day is a good day to do that. Let's keep this rolling. Thank you, everyone, so much. What does needs of the ego mean? Well, there's secondary ego-based consciousness beyond what Freud said, the flight, the feed, the fight, and the other F word that means procreate. But there's secondary ones that are the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. All of these different needs of the egos are creating interference between what we already have and the greatest source of light, love, and lessons. It's creating interference, those needs. You are already happy, healthy, and wealthy. Look to see what's interfering with it, and I guess if you do, you will find the identity of your secondary needs of the ego-based consciousness. All right, let me see if my friend Deanne Turner is here. I believe she is, at Deanne Turner. We're going to let her join us here. Thank you so much. Thomas, good to see you. As I look through everybody on here, great names showing up far before our training, which will be on Instagram Live, on the webinar, and of course on Clubhouse. If you want to join me 11 a.m. Pacific time in vulnerability. I cannot find Ann Jake, so if she can comment one more time, it would really, really help me out. Deanne, where are you? I had such a good time. I want to be very careful because yesterday I accidentally pinned somebody up, which then stops them from being able to be brought on. So please just give me a quick comment, Deanne, if you're here. I would love to see you and be able to let you join. There she is. Thank you so much. Let me do this right. I learned from my forgive myself. All righty. We are joined by Deanne Turner, speaker, best-selling author of her new book, which I love, Crush Your Career, and is crushyourcareerbook.com. Welcome. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing today, David?
I am doing great. Let me turn up my volume. Hopefully you can hear me. Everybody, especially now, is looking at transformation, transition, re-engineering, repurposing their career. And I think one of the biggest fears that people have, as we were talking about ego-based consciousness, is how not only do I find the right career, but one that I can crush. And so first, I'd love for your definition of what it means to crush your career.
Well, I think that's just it, finding something that you love to do and can spend a lifetime doing it. Now, people are going to change careers. I've done it myself in the last 3 years, made a huge shift. But finding that one thing that stirs your soul and that you enjoy doing, something that the world needs you to do, a problem that needs to be solved that you can go and solve and find fulfillment in the time that you spend working.
Absolutely. What do you think about the philosophy? I've kind of shifted my paradigm of passion. I believe if people know their what, if they take inventory of their values, personal, experiential, giving, receiving, that we can actually learn to love what we do. And that learning to love what we do is the intention that allows us to find what we love. And it's those people that create resistance, void, shortages from even learning to love something are incapable of finding or somehow coincidentally interacting with what they love to do.
Yeah, I like to use this framework that I encourage people with, which is, as you're considering where you want to work or what you want to do, you're considering the culture and the competency and the chemistry of that organization. Well, you're presenting yourself. You're taking personal inventory of that for you. What's my personal purpose? What's my personal mission? My personal values? What are my unique skills and abilities? What do I do better than anyone else? What do I want to avoid? It's just not my strength. I want to stay far away from that. And lastly, what's the environment that I want to be in, the kinds of people I want to be around that I seem to excel most when I'm around them. And then once I've done that self-assessment, I want to bring in people who know me really well to give me feedback against that. And that'll really help me as I start searching for a place to use all of those talents.
And speaking of talents, you've written several books that are all revolving around talent and assessment and self-assessment of capabilities, skills, knowledge, including desire, and building the cultures around that and working with very large companies like Chick-fil-A and many others in order to incorporate that culture with the multiple books that you've read. Now, you've developed actual questions that we can determine what jobs are for us. And so I was hoping maybe you could share one or two of those questions that we should be asking and who should we be asking them of.
Yeah, so if you're trying to figure out the job that you want and the kinds of questions you're asking, you're going back to what we were talking about just a moment ago. What are my unique skills, my experiences? What did I, throughout my life, what types of things have I enjoyed the most? And after we ask them to ourselves, then as we go out into the work world, we're asking other people who know us well. Maybe it's a former leader that's coached us in some way, or a mentor. What are you seeing in me that I'm missing, that I can offer, that I might not be seeing? And so once you have that together, you can package that up so much more easier than just sending your resume out all kinds of places looking for a job and not really being targeted about it. You want to have that bullseye of exactly where you're going. And if you approach it in this way, you'll be better prepared for that.
What I find funny, there's an old saying that says, the cobbler's kids have no shoes. And being a speaker and author, coach myself and consultant, I often hear my voice in my head say, man, David, that's such good advice. You should really take it. You're such a hypocrite. And I love someone that is just so worldly like yourself, that has done so much to empower others. You've written these extraordinary books, worked with extraordinary leaders. You've taken people, from a doer to a leader. So I'd love to get into your head and see, what are some of those things that you teach, you preach, you write about, speak about, inspire about, that in the back of your head, you're like, man, that'd be really great if I did that more often.
Well, this doer to leader thing is a really good question, David, because I struggled with that. I started out, I went to Chick-fil-A. It's been over 35 years. Now, I've been retired there for a couple of years, but 35 years ago, I went as an administrator. And so I did a lot of doing, a lot of tasks for a while. And as my career grew, I ended up in a leadership position, but really struggled with, I enjoy doing these tasks. It wasn't just a matter of I wasn't good at delegating. I actually liked doing them. But if we're going to grow in our career, then we have to step back and we have to become a generalist instead of a specialist. And the truth of the matter is if you're a leader, you can just about lead anything, whether you're an expert there or not. If you're a true leader, if you know how to select great talent, help that talent set goals for themselves, hold them accountable for those goals, and give them feedback, then as a leader, you can do anything. So what happened to me at Chick-fil-A, I led in the area of talent for 30 years. And then we launched a new social responsibility sustainability function. And I was tapped to go and lead that. Now, I have to admit, I wasn't even a really good recycler when I got this job. Now, nobody get mad at me. I got it down now. I do it. But at the time, I didn't know a lot about sustainability. I'd spent all this time on talent and culture during these times. And on top of that, they gave me a team that didn't select me, and I didn't choose them. So that was very different when I led hundreds of people in talent that chose me and I chose them. But what I quickly learned is I didn't have to know anything about sustainability. I just had to have experts around me that did, and lead them well, free them up to do their job and get out of their way. And that to me is the story of moving from being a doer to a leader.
It's so interesting because to move from a doer to a leader, you have to be a great coach, meaning we bring the best out of other people. We're
Yeah.
intelligent followers. And then I've always, been a proponent, and I love mentorship, but mentorship is limiting. And great leaders like you are great coaches who not only can bring the best out of other people, regardless of their knowledge, but also have the knowledge and humility to bring the mentors or the experts that give the most out of themselves. And those are two completely different roles. And they do mesh. You mentor in your expertise, but yet I believe that doer to leader mentality of being a great coach, someone that can bring the most out of people and bring the best people around to give their best to those people, really create a culture into an abundant philosophy. Just real quick, as you have transformed over your years, you've done so many great things. I think about people that retire, and I would say, if you're going to retire, you're going to be tired. And I retired in my 30s, and especially with the behavior I was having, I was getting tired really quick and empty and lonely and sad. But you look like an individual that understands the concept of repurposing. And when you repurpose, all you do is have more purpose. And you certainly seem to have more purpose than you did when you were even working those 35 years with Chick-fil-A and all the great things that you're able to do. What have you learned from that repurposing that you didn't expect to learn? Because you had to be set in some serious routines after doing something for so long. What was the revelation of repurposing that has helped you and that you can enlighten us with?
Well, sometimes I didn't even realize I was that frog in the boiling water, and came to realize. And I thought, by the way, I thought I retired young. You really did. But, this season is great because, what I realized is that I had devoted all of that energy and expertise to one organization. And I had the opportunity through the books that I was writing and speaking and those things to impact a lot of organizations. And what I'm most energized about, and I'll tell you, I think I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life. But right now, at this moment, I mean, this very week, releasing Crush Your Career means so much to me because it is the opportunity to give back. It's taking that knowledge and helping people who are struggling to find a job, who are struggling to grow their career, or may even be transitioning, especially through all the circumstances that we've been in. And this season in my life is all about coaching and helping people to be able to do that. So I'm finding that I'm working harder, I'm repurposed, but that purpose, I thought I had a high purpose before, but when you start wanting to help other people, well, let me end this way. My boss at Chick-fil-A, Truett Cathy, he said all the time, he said, you know, if you help enough people get enough of what they want, you'll eventually get what you want. Well, I have everything and more than I could have possibly wanted. Now I'm helping other people get what they want.
And it's beautiful to elevate others, to elevate yourself. And you got to go pick up, depending on what your circumstances are. Crush Your Career Book is applicable. Go to crushyourcareerbook.com and also go to @Deanne Turner, because she has several other books that I have actually read and have given me a greater enlightenment on my own career, my own culture, and my own inspiration. So I appreciate you sharing all of your wisdom with all of us. Please go out, help yourself, get that book, Crush Your Career, crushyourcareerbook.com, and say hi to the Cathys for me. It's been a while. Bubba is a friend of mine from years back, and
Wonderful.
I'm so proud of what you guys were able to accomplish there as well. Thank you. Come back on, sell a lot of books, help a lot of people, and change some lives. I appreciate you, Deanne.
Thank you so much, David. I'd love to see you again. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you. What a great guest. What great knowledge. And I'm serious. If you haven't checked out all those books, I know she's pushing the Crush Your Career, but all of those books, The Impact of Extraordinary Talent and Compelling Culture, Bet on Talent. These are really great books for you. All right. I get to bring a friend up next. Hopefully Sia is here. He's a co-host with me. Most people may or may not know this, but I had a sports background, a small one, and I still do a lot within the context of sports, not just esports with Overactive Media, but all sports. And one of my favorite things to do is to hang out as a co-host on the Win Daily Sports Show. They have me do Coach's Corner. And so let me bring on my friend. There he is. This guy rocks. Sia Najad. He is the co-host of the Win Daily Sports Show on XM Sirius. He's so knowledgeable about sports and how to win money, win bets, and just win in sports. It's incredible. I'm so excited to have him on here with me. And I get to see him tomorrow as well when we record the show. Where'd it go? Maybe I missed him. Let me try that one more time. There we go. I got the IG quick thing. Great guests, lots of valuable information. Thank you so much, Deanne Turner. And we're not going to let you down with Sia as well. Why, Sia? Is this not allowing me? I'm hitting it and it says send request to Sia. I do not see ya. Sia, where's he at? Comment again, Sia. There we go. I'll get this one going. Let me see. There we go. I'm there. You're here. Welcome, Sia. Oh, is unable to join. This is turning into a habit of mine. I can't understand why and why he's unable to join. I'm trying to go live. I'm hitting go live. He's here. I'm here. He's my friend. There he is with the
What is
Magic
going
Johnson
on,
jersey
David?
right behind him.
How are you?
You're buttoned up, baby. What's going on?
You know me. I'm always buttoned up, David. I really appreciate you having me on. And I assume you were being somewhat sarcastic with that moderate sports background you were talking about.
I was just trying to be humble, but you guys, I feel every time I'm on the Win Daily Show with you and Jason Mizrahi that I have a limited background. But I will tell you, you guys are talking about the future of sports, and the future of sports is understanding the analytics of how things work. And one of the most interesting things here that I find working with you, being in the Coach's Corner, is that you're able to apply historical analysis, human nature, to prospecting, not only where to look and what to bet on or what to play with in fantasy or whatever it would be, but also you have to look historically on the players themselves and the situational knowledge that is applied. There's so many variables. You know, for you, what has been the primary focus that has given you guys so much success on the Win Daily Show in fantasy and in betting?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just, you said it. I mean, there's so much minutia that people kind of regard as minutia, but ultimately is really important from a betting standpoint or from a daily fantasy sports standpoint. So what we try to do is just gather all the evidence. I mean, you know, David, I've got the lawyer background just like you.
We're both members of the Florida Bar. Do you know that? We're both members of the Florida Bar.
Okay, I didn't know you were barred in Florida. So I'm barred in Florida and Virginia. And, you know, we can talk about that, how I left my law background. But as far as Win Daily is concerned, I mean, we've got such a good team, and the more people we have, the more we can kind of really get into the minutia. And that stuff matters. I mean, we're not just looking at trends. We're looking at the entire profile, and it's led to a lot of success with a lot of people that have joined the Win Daily team.
And what do you think it is, going into our law backgrounds that allow us, one, to be, more exposed in sports? And there's so many people that have law degrees. I was just on with Tannenbaum, I went to law school with, and, he was GM of 2 different teams, one down there in Miami, and now he's on ESPN. And you and I have, this eclectic media. You've been on CBS and on XM Sirius, and, really deemed an expert. What do you think it is about the law degree, not the practice? Because I don't think practicing law really helps you, but I think the study of law for 3 years has been highly effective in my career, especially my sports media career. What aspects have you utilized from your law experiences in order to apply to sports?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's not just me applying it to sports, it's applying it to my personal life too. The ability to look at the whole picture. When you walk in day one of law school, they almost want you to see sort of the devil's advocate approach. Hey, what's the other side of this issue? We know the thing that's kind of smacking you in the face, the obvious thing, but let's get a little bit more perspective, like from somebody else's shoes, that kind of thing. So for me, both in my personal and sports life, I'm always looking at sort of the other side of the coin, and that allows me to have a much broader perspective. And again, I use that in life as well. That legal background, that trial attorney background I have, I always have to look at what the other side is going to consider. What's their argument? It doesn't really matter what my argument is. I've been fine-tuning that for a year up to trial. What matters is what their argument is and what my counter is to that argument. So that sort of broad-based perspective allows me to, whether it's sports or really anything else, allows me to attack it with like a full scope, if you will.
So interesting, because so many people, literally hire me for advice, and a lot of that is on investing, where to invest, what to invest, what does this investment look like, whatever it may be. And it's so funny because I always start out with the first question, which about 90% of them can't answer, which is, before I look at this, can you tell me your timing and risk tolerance? And, it's funny because I sit on the show every week with you guys in Coach's Corner, the Win Daily show, which is on XM, and Jason Mizrahi and you guys just kick butt giving great advice. But I think to myself, how does that question apply, to fantasy or to gambling? What is my timing and risk tolerance? And beyond that, Sia, what other questions should I be asking before I get started on the analytical journey that it takes in order to be successful?
Well, from a betting standpoint or from a daily fantasy standpoint, you kind of you don't really want to take the obvious route, because a lot of times you'll see something. We talk about this, David. You come on the Win Daily show, that's Fantasy Sports Radio, by the way, and you talk about, the games you like, the spreads you like, especially in the NFL.
I talk about the Bears winning the Super Bowl, for God's sake.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody's talking about the Bears. I am.
But the long and short of it is, you really have to dig deep. You can't go with the obvious approach. Anytime you see something, you're like, oh, that's an easy one. It's never an easy one. So again, you have to sit back and appreciate, why is that number there? Like, why does it look easy to you? Because there's another side of that coin, and that's what you have to be analyzing. Not the easy part of it, but actually the hard part of it.
That's amazing. And then what's coming up next? I mean, 18 states, I believe, in the last 22 months have legalized gambling. Esports is taking off like we've never seen it before. The stage theory of utilizing, live events in a mass appeal in a digital audience. We have interactive technologies occurring, polling, real-time gambling, all of these things. What's next? What are you looking at on the Win Daily show as the next big thing that people should be, at least keeping their antennae out of how they can have more fun and engage further in sports?
Yeah, I mean, it's all really kind of exploding sport by sport. Like, we've seen a really big uptick in betting or daily fantasy with golf, with the PGA Tour, for example. And now the PGA Tour and a lot of these other outfits, the NBA has already sort of been on board, the NFL, they're all sort of embracing this. So the truth is, all of it's exploding, just from a betting, daily fantasy. And by the way, these don't need to be investment opportunities. You can do this for fun. A lot of people play DraftKings and FanDuel. They do it for fun. And that's great. Yeah, I mean, that's great. Same with me for the most part. So the reality is, it really is exploding. And it's one of those things, dive in where you feel comfortable diving in. because you don't have to do it all. But all of these leagues are embracing gambling, and frankly, they're about 20 years behind the rest of the world.
Yeah, I do gambling for fun, but I did lose my podcast, the Playbook Skateboard, to Jason. He's yet to send me the address to ship out the skateboard as well. Little did I know I should have hit you up before to get some real advice instead of going with my emotions. Last things, people bet and buy on emotions for logical reasons. How much do emotions play a role in effective gambling or effective, like when you got that gut feeling? You do this every day. You guys are expert, the Win Daily Show, XM Sirius, and I really wonder, like, how much is it gut versus logic?
It's almost all logic. In daily fantasy, on that side of it, you can make some gut plays with your lineups and things of that nature. But when it comes to betting, you really have to take the entire emotion out of it. And so that's really what we do. I'm a Washington football team fan, and the reality is, there's no emotion there. There hasn't been for 5 or 10 years when I'm considering, giving out a bet or giving out a pick or something like that. So yeah, take the emotion out of it. It's got to be 100% logic and 0% emotion. And by the way, you brought up Jason real quick. I do want to let you know, he's actually launching a whole new series with actual former athletes and their charitable endeavors and actually their entrepreneurial endeavors post-career. So Win Daily is actually doing things way broader than that sports space. So I know you're going to be probably helping Jason mentor him with that. And we really genuinely appreciate you.
Yeah, we will fill you up with a ton of athletes that have a charitable purpose or cause and are directing the majority of their lives towards helping others, just like you and Jason have, which is why I love both of you. I do anything for you. Send everybody to watch us on the Win Daily Show, XM Sirius. Where can people find you and the show?
Yeah, so the show, just go to windailysports.com or go to our YouTube page. You just type in Win Daily Sports to YouTube, and you can subscribe to our page. Find us on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Saturdays and Sundays, 5 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. And you can find me at Sia Najad Sports on Instagram right here, or at Sia Najad on Twitter.
You got it, my friend. I'm warming up. I got Tyreek Hill here in the next 30 minutes, so I'm very excited to talk about a young man and a philanthropist that we got to get on the Win Daily Foundation show there with the charitable, because he's doing a ton for other people, and he's fairly fast. It's very rare I get someone faster than me on a show. Anyway.
Yeah, I think he's a little fast.
It's just a little
David,
fast.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow on the show.
You got it. Win Daily Show, XM Sirius. See you, my boy. Say hi to Jason. Thank you so much. Come back and visit me.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
You got it. Take care. Awesome dude, man. He is awesome. You got to catch him. Him and Jason play off one another, but the knowledge of sports between these two guys, I know they let them know that there's some for me, but boy, I'm so impressed every Saturday that I'm with them, the Win Daily Show. Go to windailysports.com and they'll give you some insight. Talk about ROI, by the way. Getting good advice on fantasy and gambling. These guys make big money doing big things with good advice. All right, everyone. I got to jump. I got Tyreek Hill waiting for me, the Kansas City Chiefs. Amazing running back. Wide receiver, sorry. Anyway, got him. Check him out on the Playbook. Download it, share it, save it, like it. The Playbook, all of the millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers. Check it out, the Playbook. You'll love it. If you need anything, I have pinned my info below. Books, guides, exercises, whatever you need. David@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Shipmeyyourbook.com. I'll send you a free book. Sign it, send it out. Shipmeyyourbook.com. Most importantly, everyone, I'm going to be in 2 hours doing a training on IG Live, on Clubhouse, and my webinar. Email me, David@dmeltzer.com, if you don't know how to find me. Please. But most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Thanks. Bye.